we can learn from everything to make a spiritual progress in life. Do you like nature? Do you like to walk in nature?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so please, few of you, give me some feedback. Tell me something nice that we can learn from nature that can help us to make spiritual advancement.
Sunrise and sunsets.
Sunrise and sunset, what can we learn from them?
That no situation is permanent, it's temporary.
Wow.
It's going to change even if you're
That is
phase.
great.
Yeah.
Yes, very deep. Yes, we can see that everything is changing. There is sunrise, then at some point there will be a sunset, then again sunrise. Great, very nice. Something else? Someone? What can we learn from nature?
We can learn detachment.
Detachment. Okay, very good. You want to say how or?
Trees have fruits, but give those fruits away.
Wow, great, yes. Trees, they have fruits, but they are ready to give these fruits to someone else instead of using them themselves. Very nice, great.
You're a prophet. This is our first lesson.
Tolerance from trees.
Tolerance from trees, great.
Shade or shelter, fruits and soil.
Very good. Second prophet. Okay, someone wants to add something? Okay, so yes, all great things. We'll bring you to a story from Bhagavad Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam. And there in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have a great king, Yadu. And one time when he was walking in the forest, he saw a special personality. Person that was looking a little bit strange, weird, but the king, with his deep spiritual intelligence, could understand this person is very, very spiritually elevated. Immediately he could understand. So with humility, he went to this sadhu and he started asking him, how it is that you make such a great advancement? I mean, you're so young, beautiful, you are capable. You can go and work hard and make money and enjoy life. And although you can do all these things, you're not doing it. You're just staying here in this forest lying on the ground. I don't understand why you're doing this. And then the great sage, he said, oh, my dear king, actually, in life, I had 24 gurus. And from all of them, I learned very valuable lessons. And now, because of these lessons, this is how I spend my time. I'm investing all my energy in spiritual development. So the king became very curious and said, can you please explain to me about your gurus? And the sadhu, he said, yes, of course. I can explain all the lessons I have learned from these gurus. And then the great teachers, they explained that those gurus, they were not like a guru in the way how we know guru, some man who comes to you and he talks to you and he explains and you learn. It was not like that. They were just different objects in nature or animals. And just by observing them, what they were doing, how they were acting, with his deep intelligence, his clever mind, this saint, he could get some lesson. He could get something very wise, something very important for his life. So this is actually how he learned from his gurus. And now,
If I can,
yeah.
it's quite interesting how Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he has coded different messages for us, and he planted these messages in likely and unlikely objects. So if we have the eyes and intelligence and mercy, we can decode this messages around us. And they all lead towards spirituality, towards understanding our true spiritual nature, that we are parts and parcels of God and we have to serve Him. So if we're very clever, we can do this on our own. If we're not so clever, then we have now a person, not only this person, there are many personalities throughout the history who did this for us, but we have somebody who will decode this for us. So just, we got some very nice examples here. By looking at the example of the tree, we can learn something. But there's so many other things we can learn from so many other objects and personalities and animals. So I found this very fascinating, how the message of God is all around us.
And now we'll start with our gurus. And by the way, if you have some question, you can ask immediately. Just show me with your hand and you can ask the question. So the first guru of our sadhu is the earth. And he's explaining, even when harassed by other living beings, one should understand that his antagonists are acting helplessly under the control of God. And thus he should never be distracted from progress on his own path. This rule I have learned from the earth. Like nowadays, we human beings, we are really harassing the earth, isn't it? And the earth is not protesting. The earth is tolerating and continuing to give as much as we can get from it. So in the same way, when we are living our life, there will be on many occasions some disturbances. And many times those disturbances, they will come from other living entities. Someone will come and will harass us. It can be our boss, it can be our friend, it can be someone who is very envious to us that we are advancing very fast in our job, or we are doing very good at school. So here the advice that we are getting and the lesson we are getting from earth is, we just have to go on patiently with our course of action, and we should not be disturbed by others. So this is the lesson we can learn from earth. Then the second guru, our sadhu said, second guru was the mountain and the tree. A saintly person should learn from the mountain and the tree to devote all his efforts to the service of others, and to make the welfare of others the sole reason for his existence. We got this nice example about the tree. Tree is giving fruits, tree is giving shadow, tree is giving even sometimes himself. Because we cut the tree and we use it, and the tree is not protesting. And Pandava, he likes to say also that sometimes we uproot the tree and bring it to a different place, and still the tree continue giving to others. In the same way, mountain is giving so many valuable things for the life of the people, so many jewels and precious things we are getting from the mountain. So yeah, basically these two are great gurus of a mentality, learn to give for others, live for others. Actually, this is a successful human life. It means we are giving something for someone else. If we are living just selfishly our life, something is missing.
Okay, but then if we are so selflessly dedicated to service to others, then who's gonna serve us? Who's gonna help us? If we don't help ourselves, then
That's a good question. What you're going to say about that?
yeah, I'm thinking that I'm asking questions on behalf of our audience here. Maybe this question appears in somebody's mind. So if we're dedicated 100% to others, then what will happen to us?
Well, there is a nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yatataror mula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda bujopasaka pranopaharacha yatindriyanam tataiva sarvarhanam achyuteja. When you give a food to the stomach, automatically the whole body gets energy. Yes? Someone may say, why I have to give the food to the stomach? Let me give the food to my finger. I'll eat through my finger. How much you can get from nourishing your body through your finger? Maybe something 0.001% nourishment. Yes? You know, like sometimes people, they put these cucumbers on their eyes or some cream to nourish themselves in this way. You get some nourishment, but you cannot eat like that, isn't it? The right way to nourish the body is through the belly. Later I'll see who is nourishing well the body during the feast. And then in the same verse it is said, when you're giving food to the root of the tree, automatically the whole tree gets energized. All the branches, all the leaves, everything gets energy. So in the same way, if we dedicate our life to service of God, if we dedicate our life to serve the parts of God, then automatically we will get energized. Is that good enough?
Yeah, yes, sure. I was also thinking that if we create this culture of taking care of others,
They also take care of us.
yeah,
Nice. Yes.
instead of everyone trying to exploit others and everybody trying to exploit you in return. So if we, by the mercy of Krishna, if we're able to create this spiritual culture, then everybody will be well taken care of. So we don't have to worry.
Nice. Yes. The next guru was the wind. So a wind is a very interesting guru. Why? Because a wind is present everywhere. Yes? And the wind is going through different situations and through different places. And sometimes the wind goes through a very pure and nice place with a nice smell, but sometimes the wind goes through a very dirty place and catches a bad smell. However, the truth is that the wind is never mixing with these substances. He is carrying them, but he is always aloof from them. So in the same way, it is explained that a person who is actually learned, although he'll go through different situations in life, different places in life, different moods in life, he will never mix with this. He will always stay aloof. Like, for example, today you have a good marks at school, tomorrow bad marks. Today you get a very great job, tomorrow they may fire you, and next day you can get another even better job. So we go through so many different situations in life. Someone who is acting like the wind, he will not be disturbed from this because he knows, oh, this is life. Now it's winter and it's very cold outside, isn't it? Is it cold or it's cold? Little bit. Me and Pandava, we were living for 15 years in India. So although we are like Western guys, we feel the cold now. So we feel some empathy. But tomorrow it won't be cold. Tomorrow actually it will be very nice. And then after a few more days it will be very hot. We will be suffering from hot. And then again it will become pleasant. And then again cold. So this is life. You go through different phases, through different situations. Someone who is spiritually awakened, alive, he'll be able to go through these situations. He won't become too much absorbed in them. He won't become too disturbed by these situations.
Well, this reminds me about Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna that summer and winter and happiness and distress, they follow one after another. And one should learn to tolerate them. That's the best we can do, because they will come inevitably. So we cannot change the law of karma. We can change our perception of the law of karma. And Krishna says that the person who doesn't rejoice in a happy situation and doesn't lament when things get tough, he's very, very, very dear to him. So we should try to endeavor to become dear to Krishna through this Simple, but not so easy method. It's simple, but
Next guru is, what do you think? Fire is also there, by the way. But before fire, we have to come to, you're very intelligent. Yes. A saintly person is just like a water because he is free from all contamination, gentle by nature, and by speaking creates a beautiful vibration like that of flowing water. This a saintly person purifies all those who contact him because he always chants the glories of the Lord. So water signifies many things, signifies purity, softness, mildness, gentleness. Uh, a saintly person, a real sadhu, should have all these qualities. He should be gentle, soft, kind, mild. He should be pure. These are all different qualities that we learn from water, and our sadhu, he learned, okay, this is what a saintly person should exemplify. And how a saintly person stays always pure? By always staying in contact with the Lord, chanting the glories of the Lord, speaking about the Lord, hearing about the Lord. Because it is said, Krishna, he is the supreme pure. When you get in contact with the supreme pure, you also become pure. This is how it works.
there is one verse from Bhagavatam which says that Krishna is the purifier of all purifiers. So we may try to purify, but if we don't get purified by Krishna, then we cannot purify anyone, even ourselves. So I like very much this, that the saintly person is saintly because he constantly chants the glory of the Lord, not by himself. Sometimes the saintly persons nowadays, they try to hide God. They just try to present themselves that I am God. I don't need a guru. I don't need to study Bhagavad Gita. I don't need to have contact. I am myself, self-illuminating. I just happen to be. If you hear this, that's not real saintly person. It's a cheater. So he has to be in contact with God.
Yeah, like before becoming a guru, first you have to become perfect. What? Huh? Devotee, disciple, student, yes. Nobody became a professor all of a sudden, isn't it? Professor, first he was a very good student, and because he was exceptional student, that's why he became professor. So same thing in spiritual life. Those personalities actually qualified to become gurus, they're qualified because they were first class students and they learned very properly and they were very dedicated to their gurus.
And they're very eager to point out who is their guru, like this person here. He has not one, 24, and he doesn't hide them. He doesn't say, I learned by myself. I don't depend on anyone. No, he's showing, this is my guru, and this is my guru. Even there is this famous Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius. He's famous Stoic philosopher. There is one book by him called Meditations, and then the beginning of the book is called Mangalacharana. Mangalacharana means auspicious beginning. In the very beginning of the book, he offers his respects and tributes to his gurus, and he explains, from this I learned that, from this I learned. This is how a civilized person begins every undertaking, by recognizing his dependence on his superiors.
Yeah, that's very good. That's why, like in the Vedic culture, you respect to your guru, you offer respect to your parents, you offer respect to God, because these are all superior personalities. You have to offer your respect to them. Then it means you have auspiciousness in life. Your life becomes very auspicious. What else we can learn from the water? What do you think? Give me something. What can we learn from water? Some very, very important lesson. Hmm? Steadiness.
Stateless, you became stateless. I mean, whatever the container you pour, you become
Okay.
of the container, you become the stateless.
Okay. Yes. Good point. Something else? Adaptability. Yes. Very good. Transparency.
I like this transparent because if the water is pure, you can see the bottom, you can see inside. In the same way, the saintly person, as we spoke, through himself, you can see Krishna. He is transparent via media. He doesn't hide. He doesn't blur things. He doesn't make it mystified.
And also he himself, he doesn't have anything to hide. He's like open in front of the people. Okay, this is me. Yeah, water is very interesting substance because it can be very soft, yes, but at the same time it can be very hard, isn't it? So he has both natures at the same time. Sometimes he's very soft, like as you said, you can put a water and the water will just take the shape of the pot. So it's very agreeable substance. It's not like a stone. Stone, you throw it somewhere, it breaks everything around. No, water immediately kind of takes the form, the shape of the situation. But at the same time, the water is very determined, very strong. Because let's say if you put water to drop on the same place, what will happen? Even if you have stone under, gradually a hole will appear. So it's a very, very strong and very determined substance. So we can learn these two qualities at the same time, like we can be very soft. I think Bruce Lee was saying that one should be like soft and agreeable like a water, but also very, very hard. So as a personalities, we have to be soft, but at the same time, we should have determination to follow our goals, our dreams, our desires. And in the best way, they should be connected with Krishna. Because whatever is connected with God, it's very easy to fulfill. Like if you have desire and you just go and work hard, maybe it can be fulfilled, maybe yes, maybe no. But if you work hard and at the same time pray to God for mercy, for blessings, for Ashivat, then it's easier. Then it's easier that our desire will be fulfilled. Our next great teacher is fire. We will skip it because we cannot go through all of them. But fire is also a great guru. Like one amazing quality we can learn from the fire is a fire can burn all kinds of substances, isn't it? But never becomes contaminated. Like the fire can purify such a dirty places, such dirty substances, but he never becomes contaminated. So in the same way, someone who is always in connection with God, who is always pure in his heart, although sometimes he may associate with not so pure personalities, or he can be present in not pure places, he will not be contaminated. So we can be like the fire. We can, doesn't matter where we move and where we go, always keep God in our mind. And if God is in our mind, we will always stay pure like the fire. We will never become contaminated from anything. Neither people, nor places, nor food, nothing. But we have to always keep God in our mind.
And just like Krishna is a Shuddham, Apapaviddham, that means he's antiseptic and prophylactic. He purifies and then he keeps us away, safe from all contamination and disease.
So the next two gurus, they are the two eyes of Krishna. Who are the two eyes of Krishna? Wow, you're very learned. Okay. We have the moon. What can we learn from the moon? The moon is a round object. Is it? At least this is how we perceive it. So now there is something very interesting about the moon. The moon goes through phases, yes? So we have Purnima. What is Purnima? Very good. And we have Amavasya. No moon. So at some point, after 2 weeks, we won't have any kind of moon. And then after 2 more weeks, we will have a full moon. So it looks like the moon is constantly changing. It's going through different phases, yes? But in actuality, the moon is not changing. The moon is always the same. Our perception is changing. So in the same way, our sadhu explains that from the moon, he learned that the soul, the spiritual entity inside of the body, is always the same and is never changing. But because the body is going through different changes, we are born, then the body is growing, then becomes youthful, then we become adults, then we have kids, then we become old, little bit like start walking like that. And then at some point the body disappears. So one may think, oh, actually the living entity is going through all these phases. But in fact, it's not like that. We, the real living entity, the spirit inside, is never changing. So this is actually very optimistic news. Why? Because if I'm never changing, that means I cannot die. People are so much afraid of death because you work hard whole life and now you cannot take anything with you at the end. Is it so? Is it true? How many things can we take with us? Huh? There is the great, another great king, Alexander the Great, when he was about to die. And he said, when you bury me in the ground, I want you to leave my hands outside. And I want you to make them very wide open like this. They said, what is this strange desire? Why do you want this? He said, I want the whole world to see this is the Alexander the Great. He was the great emperor. He actually conquered the whole world. And now he's going out of this world without anything.
He couldn't conquer India, though.
He couldn't, that's true. But he tried.
He tried hard.
But already the first king gave him serious troubles and he decided that, okay, it won't happen. So he went back. But he was great. And still, he could not take anything with him. So it's great news that nothing can happen to us. We are eternal living entities. We are the soul. And although world changes, our body is changing, we are not changing. We are eternal. No need to be afraid. No need to be in a worry. No need to get depressed. Nothing bad can happen to us because we are eternal. And from the sun, he learned another interesting lesson. The sun evaporates water, keeps the water for a while in the form of clouds, and then when the time comes, the sun gives back the same water. So by observing the sun, our great saint, he learned the lesson that, wait a minute, certain things are coming to us in our life. Yes, we get different objects, like you learn, you become good at something, you start earning money, so you get money. Then with the money you buy certain things, you buy house, you buy car, you buy clothes, you buy so many things. And then you have them. And then at some point someone comes and wants to take them from you. Is it so? Like your kids, for example. They come and they say, Daddy, Mommy, give me $100 I need to buy something. And you give. So many things coming in our life as our possessions, and then they disappear. He learned that nothing in this life is actually ours. Everything belongs to God. Everything belongs to God. And because everything belongs to God, sometimes God gives us things and we have to keep them and use them until there is someone that is worthy to give them to Him. And then we give them, and then God will give us another things. In other words, we should not be attached. We should understand that everything belongs to God. If we don't understand this point, this means we are thieves. Small thieves or big thieves? There is another interesting story with Alexander the Great. There was a big thief and they caught him. And Alexander the Great went there to give him judgment. And he was just about to give him judgment. And the thief said, "But wait a minute, I didn't do anything wrong." And he said, "How you think you didn't do anything wrong? You stole, you stolen." And he said, "No, no, no. What is the difference between me and you? You are going to other countries against the desire of the people you take their wealth, and you're using it the way how you want. So you're also stealing. So you're a big thief and I'm a small thief. What is the difference between us?" And Alexander the Great, he thought for a while and he said, "Yes, you're right, actually. I'm also a thief. I'm stealing from others what belongs to them." So he released him. So in this world, we are all small thieves or big thieves. Until we understand that actually everything that is around us belongs to God. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Yat kinchat jagatyam jagatenya tyakteina bunjitaham agridat kasyasvidanam. Everything that we see around us belongs to God. And one should not be greedy, but rather one should develop the consciousness always, no matter where he is, to know everything belongs to God and I have to use it in the right way. So the sun sometimes takes, sometimes gives. In the same way, we will take many things in this life. We will get many substances, many objects, many things. We should not be attached to them. When the time comes and we feel God from the heart tells us, "Okay, now is the time to give," we have to give. We should not be attached to what we have. This is a great lesson we can learn from the sun. And the last lesson for today that we are learning from the nature, because we will have other lessons also, is the ocean. Ocean is compared with a saintly person. A saintly person is very, 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 very deep, like the ocean. Sometimes there is a storm, but the storm is only on the top. How many meters? Who knows? I also don't know. I'm just asking. But I guess 20, 30, 50, 100. But above that, the ocean is very, very deep. You know what's the deepest point in the ocean? Huh? How much?
About 11 kilometers.
Yes, something like 11 kilometers. That's very deep. So you can imagine how peaceful is the ocean down there. So a saintly person sometimes apparently may become a little bit angry externally just to give a lesson, to teach us something. But actually, deeply in his heart, he's always very peaceful. He's always meditating on the Lord, meditating on Krishna. And we are all trying to become also a saintly people. Yes or yes? Little bit at least. Little bit sadhus, little bit saintly people. We are trying to become. So it's a lesson for us that sometimes there will be storms in our life, but we should not allow them to go deep in our life, deep in our heart. We have to keep them on the surface. There is a problem in job. Keep it there. Don't bring it home. Don't throw the problem on your wife or husband or kids. Like there is this story, the man is angry, comes back. He is yelling at the wife. The wife becomes angry. She goes, starts yelling at the kids. The kid becomes angry, goes to the dog and uh, punches the dog. Then the dogs become angry and goes to the cat. So like that, the whole chain. Don't do that. Like if you have problems in certain place in your life, keep the problem there. Don't bring it deeply in your life. Don't bring it to others. That's very important lesson. Pandava?
Yeah, well, another thing is if we have spiritual identity, I know this sounds very esoteric maybe, but if we know who we actually are in Krishna's pastimes, what is our natural constitutional relationship with God, then it will be easier to tolerate the hardships of this material world. So we have to strive to acquire our real identity, because right now we have forgotten it. And right now, all we have is this material reality. And then it's very difficult, if this is all we have, it's very difficult to not be affected by it, because we don't have anything else. But by practicing Bhakti Yoga, then gradually we'll remember who we really are in the spiritual world. And then we'll always be able to take shelter in our real identity. And then whatever happens here won't be so important. It doesn't mean we will not pay attention or perform our duty, but it won't affect us because we know who we really are.
Yes, sometimes I like to give the example that we should have a different shelters in life, you know? When there is a difficult situation, we have to take shelter somewhere, isn't it? Like some people, when they have difficult situation, they take shelter in suites. Others, they watch TV. Others, they come out with friends. Others, they go and share with whatever, with the parents. So these are different shelters. When the difficult time comes, you have to take shelter somewhere. Now, if we have only one shelter in life, there is a problem. Why? Because if there is some problem with this shelter, you don't know where to go. You don't know where to do. So the more shelters we have in life, the better. Let's say you have good friends, but you have your parents. You can go and share with them. You have, okay, a bank balance. It can help you in different situations. You like to eat sweets. It helps sometimes. So these are all shelters. And then we should have the ultimate shelter, which is Krishna, yes. Because sometimes all material shelters, they will be useless. You may have money, you may have good health, strong muscles. You can be the greatest sportist, unconquerable. You can be the wisest man in the world. Nobody can beat your intelligence, 255. But the moment will come in life, then you won't be able to do anything materially. And then the only thing you can do is take shelter in Krishna. Just lift your hands like our sin little before. At some point, you have to lift your hands and say, Krishna, I surrender to you. I'm your servant. Please help me. And then Krishna will become part of your life. The factor Krishna, this is the greatest factor. This is the most important shelter in life. So until now, we were learning from nature. Now we will bring you to the zoo. Are you ready? You like zoo? Have you been? Have you been to the jungle? Have you heard about Jharkhand? Have you heard about Sundarban? These are famous places. Still, you can go there and see some tiger watching at you, smiling, and making like this. Nice prasadam. Because he didn't took his breakfast yet. So our next guru is a very interesting personality. He's the pigeon. What our sadhu learned from the pigeon? One should never indulge in excessive affection or concern for anyone or anything. Otherwise, one will have to experience great suffering, just like the foolish pigeon. There is an interesting story. There was this pigeon, and he had his family, his wife, and the small baby pigeons, and they were living very nicely together in their nest. And the mother and the father, every day, they would go to collect some food for their kids. One day, close by came a hunter. And the hunter, being very skillful, immediately managed to capture the kids. When the mother and the father came back with the food, and they saw their kids are not there, and they saw their kids were in the net of the hunger, they become horrified. And the mother, without even thinking, immediately jumped into the net to try to save her kids. And the result was, she was also caught in the net. And now the father, he was thinking, he started deliberating, and he didn't know what to do. He was thinking, from one side, I can go and try to save them. But if I try to save them, most probably I will also enter into the net. So I won't be able to save them. On the other side, I can leave. But if I leave, what is then the worth of my life? Why I'm going to live? My whole life is here. My wife, my kids. So what to do? And he became completely depressed, and he didn't know what to do. And at the end, he went to the net also. And the hunter was very, very happy, and with the whole family went back home. So this story we are learning on the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is the outcome of the story? What is the conclusion? What is the wise thing we can get out of it? One should not have excessive attachment or affection to anyone or anything. Affection we would have in our life to many things. Yes? Because affection is a natural thing. To love someone is a natural thing. Can you live a life without loving anyone or anything? What kind of life will be this? So it's natural that we will have affections, but we should not have excessive affection, excessive attachment. Excessive affection actually
You can
is...
have excessive attachment to Krishna, though. Right?
That's different. Yes. For Krishna, you can be met, no problem. But for material things, although we may have many material things in life, we should not be too attached to them. When you are too attached to something, actually these things, it's kind of blocking your intelligence. You cannot think anymore. Have you experienced this sometimes? Like, for example, you play computer games, and you play 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, then it's 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and suddenly you realize it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. And you forgot to eat, to drink, to sleep, you didn't do anything. And suddenly you realize, what happened? I just lost my whole day is gone. My whole night is gone. My whole life is gone. Why? Because you were so attached to this thing. Or sometimes people, they become too attached to certain foodstuffs. The doctors tells them, no, you should not eat only one thing. You shouldn't eat only sweet. You have to eat balanced diet. Yes? But if you're too attached, what is the result? So intelligence is telling you, you have to be balanced. But actually, when the mind becomes very attached to something, you stop thinking and you just go there. The boys, they look at some girl and they say, oh, she's too beautiful, I cannot help myself. And they just start walking like that. Have you seen something like that? Yes? Yes or yes? Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. So the lesson from this guru is that we should not have excessive attachment to anything in this world. Otherwise, this will create suffering and bondage in life. Our next guru is also very interesting. Our next guru is the Python. What is the lesson we can learn from the Python? By the way, this sadhu, he was known as the Python sadhu. Why? Because he would just lie down on one place and he wouldn't go anywhere for any reason. And he explained, this lesson I learned from the Python. A python, he stays in one place and he is self-satisfied. And sometimes there is so much food and he eats a lot. And sometimes there is no food for a few days and he doesn't eat. He just stays and waits until the food comes again. So our sadhu is explaining the lesson I learned from the python is that anything you need in life will come to you. No need that you have to go and look for it somewhere. It will come to you. Let me ask you a question. Do you like questions? Do you get sick sometimes? It happens to you? Sometimes? Do you want to get sick? No? But it happens, huh? So, do you lose things sometimes? Do you want to lose it? No, yeah? Do you feel a little bit miserable sometimes? Do you want to feel like that? But anyway, it comes, isn't it? So all these things, they come in our life. We don't want them, but they are there. They are coming. So in the same way, so many good things will come in our life. It doesn't matter if we do something about it or not. Because whatever good or bad in our life would come, it would anyway come. In India, they say the moment you are born, the heap of rice that you will be able to eat during this lifetime is born with you. It's already there. You don't have to think about food. The moment you appear, the food is already there. Now they say, oh, there is scarcity. There is not enough food for everybody. Wait a minute. Human beings, they are only how much? 8 billion. Yes? Animals, birds, reptiles, fishes, they're much, much more, isn't it? Is it that all of them are eating every day? Like the elephant, they say for one day the elephant can eat up to 40, 50 kilos of food. Is it that every day the elephants are eating? Is it that God provides for them? So if He's providing to them, why not for us? We are much less than the animals. Much less. What is the problem? So this is the lesson that he learned from the python. Everything that I need in this life, it will come to me. No need that I go somewhere else to get it. What do you think about this lesson? It's a good lesson? You accept it? So you quit job tomorrow? Maybe after a few years, okay?
Retire early. We some years back, maybe 2004, we were in Belgium, and there we went to a few times to a Benedictine Catholic monastery, and we had a friend there. He was one of the monks, Brother Tom. And Brother Tom was a very interesting person. He knew Sanskrit. He was reading Bhagavad Gita and studying different. He liked Bhagavad Gita. He liked Krishna. So he told us, because he was in this monastery for many, many years, maybe for 30 years. And he said, I don't go anywhere. But everyone that I had to talk to came to me. Just like you guys. You came to me. I didn't come to you. You came to me. So he had some realization, personal realization, although maybe he didn't read Bhagavatam. But he had this understanding that whatever God will have for me, I'll get it here in this place without the need to leave the place and go anywhere else.
I had a good friend of mine. He was distributing books, spiritual books. Every day he would go on the street and try to find people to buy spiritual books. So every day before going out, he would just sit down and pray very sincerely to God. My dear God, please send me today a few sincere people that are interested and they want to get these books. And every day he would go in one place and he'll stay there in one place. He'll choose one place in front of a supermarket or some parking or some street, and he would just stay in one place. And every day, few very nice people will come next to him, and he'll talk to them, and they'll get a book. So it really builds up your faith when something like that happens, isn't it? Because it's not like 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. He was doing it many, many years in a row. Same place, same city, in the center of the same city. And every day, different people would come to him with interest and they would buy books. So that was really like faith builder for him in his life. So this is the lesson we are learning from the Python. And then we have few more. From the bee, we can learn two important things. One thing is the bee goes to many, many flowers and gets little bit from each flower. Isn't it? The bees, they don't go only to one flower. They go to many, many, many flowers and they get little bits from everywhere. So in the same way in life, we should be satisfied with little bit and we should get little bit from everywhere. You should not become greedy because greed destroys all the good qualities in the character. If once we have greed in one place, all the other good qualities, they disappear. And then the other problem with greed is that if you try to collect, let's say you work very, very, very hard and you manage to collect, at some point, someone will come and will steal everything that you collected with your hard work. A person may come and steal it. A government may come and steal it in the way of whatever. Taxes, this tax and that tax. A time may steal it. A sickness may steal it. So through so many ways, our hard-earned money or possessions, they may disappear. So that's why it is said what one should not be greedy, 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 and just hoard more and more and more for himself. Rather, one should use his hard-earned money and possessions to serve with them God. Because whatever you invest in service of God, it stays your eternal credit. Actually, this is the only thing you can keep as your eternal credit. In one place in Shastra, it is said that if you see someone on the street who is dressed like a saintly person, but he is not, he's a cheater, but he is dressed like a sadhu, and you respect him as a sadhu, and you give him some whatever, donation or food or something, it's guaranteed that this will come back immediately to you. Whatever you give, that much will immediately come, just because you respected the culture. Now, if he is a real Brahmin,
It will come double.
it will come double, huh? Okay, if he is a real Brahmin,
100 times.
100 times. If he is a very advanced spiritual personality, unlimited benefit. So basically, whatever we have, we should try to use it in the service of God. Like we can have nice deities at home and offer them foodstuffs for their pleasure. Or we can invite devotees of Krishna at home and make kirtan with them. And whatever, give them a rasagula. You like rasagula? You like sandesh? Ladu? I
These
like
are-
all of them.
These are Bengali sweets.
You know Ladu. Yes? You know rasagula. Come on.
Another thing from the bee we can learn is that the bee takes the essence of from all flowers. So in the same way, we're supposed to take the essence of all scriptures we study. The essence. That means pure devotional service to Krishna. And also all the books that we happen to read in our lives, because we don't read only scripture. But there is the essence everywhere, and we are supposed to learn how to extract this essence, the most important thing, and to connect everything to Krishna.
Another important guru is the fish. The fish is very interesting example. Fish is very attached to one of the senses. Which sense? Taste. The fish is very attached to taste. So the fish sees that there is something moving there and also sees the hook. But the fish is thinking, oh, this will be very tasty. I have to have it. I'll be able to get it without going on the hook. And then suddenly, job done. So again, we should not be too attached to our senses. Rather, we should be able to control our senses. We also should control our sense of speech, because through our speech, we can very easily get into serious troubles. Does it happen to you? Sometimes you say one word which is not on the right place, and then you have to suffer for such a long time. So if someone is able to control his tongue, he can save so much problems in life, so many troubles in life. Like sometimes you just make like this, and you don't talk, and you count to whatever, 1,000 until you go down. Don't say anything, even one word. Then later you can say something. And then we have few other gurus, but I'll just go a little bit ahead. This is an interesting guru, arrow maker. There was a person who was making arrows, and he was so focused on his job that a king passed by close by. And you know, when the king is passing by, he's not alone. A king means like there are ministers, soldiers, musicians. It's a big thing. He was so focused on his job that he even didn't notice the passing of the king. So our sadhu learned a great lesson from this. One should be so determined, so focused on his job that he should not be able to perceive anything else in his life. And actually, it is said one to be successful in life needs two qualities. What are these two qualities? One is focus, and one is determination. If you have these two qualities, you'll be successful in everything you do. And the third one is Ashivat, the mercy of the Lord, Bhagavan. And the last guru that we are going to talk about is our body. How the body is a guru? Can you tell me? Because the body appears and stays for a while and then will disappear. So the body itself is teaching us detachment to anything material, because we see, wow, my body is changing. So everything around us is changing. We started the class in this way. The rising of the sun and setting down of the sun. Everything in this world is changing. So in the same way, body will be changed also. Body will be over. But we are eternal. That's why we have to invest in our spiritual growth, in our spiritual development, in our connection with Krishna. This is something that will never be lost. This is something that will stay forever, eternity. In Bhagavad Gita it is said, Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo navidyate sva alpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. There is no loss and diminution in this endeavor, in devotional service. Devotional service is so powerful, it can free you from the greatest fear. What is the greatest fear? That maybe now we have this human body, human form of life, which is so precious. Next life, maybe we won't have it. But if someone is doing devotional service, it is guaranteed that at least you'll be born again as a human and you'll have a very good life. And if you make even more spiritual advancement, you can just go back to Krishna, back to the spiritual world. So these are some of the gurus of our sadhu, and he explained this to the king, and king became wise, and he also dedicated his life completely to bhakti, to service of the Lord. So that was our small presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention and listening. Until we get ready for the kirtan. Maybe we can take one or two questions if someone has a question. Yes.
Prabhu, you talked about finding about my identity and creation with Krishna. So does it have to do anything about purpose in life? And does Krishna has a purpose in life for everyone?
Yes, yes, very good point. Because Krishna would like to have us back home, back to Godhead, and he misses our association. He misses us more than we can ever miss him, because God loves us more than we can love him in return. So this is his plan. He wants to enthuse us, to inspire us. Life after life, he's waiting in our hearts when he will or she will turn finally to me. Because in life after life, we are ignoring him. So he hopes that this lifetime, finally, after so much ignoring him and postponing, finally we'll take this human life seriously, we'll follow the process, and we'll realize what is our eternal position in the spiritual world, in Krishna's pastimes. We can be his friend, his beloved, his parent, anything what we want. He will reciprocate in the same way. Is this answering your question? Thank you.
And also, it's not that we are going to lose if we develop our relationship with Krishna. We'll win. Actually, sometimes people, they are afraid, but if I'm investing time in Krishna, I won't have time to invest in my material development. It's not like that. It's like we said, when you give food to the stomach, automatically the whole body becomes energized. So the moment we invest little bit energy in our Krishna consciousness, in our relationship with Krishna, automatically all aspects in our life, they will become improved. Materially, financially, economically, our relationship with the other living entities. Why? Because our consciousness will go up, and this will influence all different aspects of our life. So we will not lose anything, we will win, actually. It's like some people, they become serious to get up early in the morning and do exercise, invest in themselves. And this actually influences their whole life after that. Someone may say, oh, I have to lose this time to get up early in the morning to do exercise. Let me just go and work. But it doesn't work like that. When you come early, when you invest in your consciousness, then you'll be more efficient on your work. So same thing in Krishna consciousness. When you get up a little bit earlier, when you invest in your spiritual consciousness, you see how much more efficient you'll become in everything else. Just try. Make an experiment and you'll see. Something else? Okay, if not, thank you very much. Huh? Okay. Yeah, sorry.
But somewhere that what you learn from the sun is you take only the positive and you give only positive. So the sun takes clear water and it gives clear water to the.
Okay.
But how do you adapt in life and how do you keep away from the negativity? Because you come across all kinds of people in life. Some that will try to use you, some that will be good friends.
Okay, yes, very good. Well, I think the sun is not always taking only positive, isn't it?
But it gives positive.
100%. But sometimes he takes the water from very filthy place. Yes? Sun evaporates water from pure places and from very dirty places, but always bring the water pure. So I definitely agree that we have to learn this lesson from the sun. No matter how people react towards us, we should always react positively towards them. If we can do that, it means we are real saintly people. Because it takes a courage to be able to do that. It's not easy. Always, it doesn't matter how people deal with you, you to reciprocate in a very positive and nice way. It takes really a brave person to be able to do that. So yeah, that's very good lesson we can learn from the sun. Okay? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So let's express our gratitude to Tulasi Prabhu by a huge round of applause. But there's an important announcement. We have our Discover Yourself Gita in Nutshell course beginning tomorrow, and it will be held every Sunday for 1 hour, 12:30 p.m.